The following question, the fourth question is from a brother, did not mention his name. He says, if a person is diagnosed with impotence before marriage, so we have several questions about marriage, okay? An earlier question, one who has, who's hyperactive with regards to his sexual desire, and the other is diagnosed with impotence before marriage. Should he discuss this issue with his parents and in-laws or bride before getting into marriage? Note that this is the first marriage for the bride and the groom. Okay. First of all, my advice is to check with a physician, with a doctor, to find out whether this is a serious medical condition, chronic, or is it something seasonal, or is it something congenital and it could be treated, something due to a reason or another which could be treated. If it is something chronic that you live with it, then in this case you must inform the bride or her parents before making the decision. I mentioned the bride because I know that we are in a different world, and most of the time the couple get to speak to each other before they take the case home, before they talk to their parents and so on. So this is something you gotta keep in mind. Well, if the bride agrees and she says this matter and impotence is not a problem, and I'm marrying him for other bigger reasons, that's perfectly fine. Then she'd drop that option. She wouldn't have the right to ask for divorce afterward simply because he's impotent. Okay? But if the person married a woman, whether first time or second time she's a virgin or happened to be married before, a divorcee or a widow, and he is suffering from impotence and he did not tell her, this is deceiving, cheating, and she has a right to revoke this whole marriage, and she would maintain the dowry as a result of that because of his deception. So the person must share this with his life mate before making that decision. If in another case, I have a similar case where the parents are pushing their son, you have to get married, you have to get married, and he's shy to tell them that he has this problem, provided that you checked with several doctors before and it is confirmed that this is something that you're going to live with it. So it will be advised to share with your father, for instance, the situation in order to lift that pressure from you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you shifa. The fifth question is from Sister Amatullah Muslima. Sister Amatullah says, I study IT and my class is full of boys. There are 3 girls and over 20 boys. My classes finish late and I pray salat late most of the time. I really lose khushu' and I don't like myself when I see that I spend too much time learning how human being implements computer rather than learning the deen. Okay, so I really want to stop this and switch into learning the deen. Is this the right choice? Should I continue learning computer rather than Islamic knowledge? I don't understand why many people assume that learning the deen requires you not to learn anything else. Or being a hafid or being a scholar means that it is not possible for you to be an MD or an engineer or a lawyer or whatever. There is no conflict of interest whatsoever. You can be both. You can be an IT, and meanwhile you can study Islamic education, Islamic studies, and you excel in both. And especially for a girl, being an IT, she can do her work from home. She doesn't have to go anywhere, and she can really make a very good income, and she can create Islamic web pages, which is needed, and you get paid very well. Why do we assume that Islam is asking us to live in the shade and not to be successful? Okay, this is one thing that I needed to lift the fog in its regard. No, I want you to be successful, boys or girls. I want you to be educated, and I want you to be educated on both levels, Islamic studies and science as well. Science, math, pharmacology, whatever. Excel in whatever you feel like it, and you will be able to serve the ummah and humanity at large better, provided that you would not be involved in any violation, like working in a mingled society environment where, you know, boys and girls will be sitting next to each other, talking, chatting to each other freely without any limit. You know, if you have a career which will give you the pleasure of working in a halal job, take it and study in order to obtain it and get a degree, no problem. With regards to skipping the salah, nothing gives you an excuse to skip the salah. So even in the classes, if you fear that the time will be out for the current prayer, excuse yourself, step out. If you have a janamaz, if there is a prayer room in the college or in the school, you must offer the prayer on time. And I mean with on time before its time is out and before the time of the following prayer has entered, because that counts as a major sin. In Surah Maryam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا. أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ, Allah condemns the behavior of some people from Bani Israel, and that applies to every other believers afterward who have been commanded with offering the prayer, and they neglect that mandate and they waste the prayer. أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ. How did they waste it? By postponing the prayer from its fixed time. So فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا, the consequence to that is to be thrown in hell, in a valley which is known as Ghay. May Allah protect us. It's a severe punishment. In Surah Al-Ma'un, Allah the Almighty says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Woe to those who pray, but they are negligent of their prayer. So they know that they should be praying. They're Muslims, but they are not very regular on offering the prayer on time. They're busy with their school, with their business, with their studies, with their meetings, from offering the prayer on time. So woe to them. Another serious warning. Nothing more important, nothing is more important than fulfilling your duty towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is basically the sole reason behind our creation. In Surah Al-Dhariyat, Allah the Almighty says in this regard, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُمْ مِنْ رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ يُطْعِمُونَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينَ. Why did Allah create the jinn and the ants, these two classes who have been entrusted with the free choice? For one reason, to worship Allah and to fulfill their duties towards Allah. Allah says, I'm not expecting any provision from you, nor to feed me, nor to feed yourselves, nor to feed yourselves. ما أريد منهم من رزق وما أريد أن يطعمون إن الله هو الرزاق ذو القوة المتين. All the means of provision and the keys of rizq are controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one has to understand that in order to earn your rizq lawfully, you should fulfill your duties towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, number one, and earn it from the proper lawful sources.
Huda TV's social media sites are the best way to contact us from anywhere around the world. Stay connected with Huda TV's latest news and programs through Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Skype, and Instagram. It's fast and easy. Stay up to date with your favorite shows and scholars today. Huda TV, a light in every home.